Hi, I am here with Fastly, which is a content delivery network startup. And as I say CDN, I can feel people starting to tune out. So please, tell us why should people actually be excited about Fastly?
I like to think we're making infrastructure sexy. I think that's what we're trying to bring to it.
Right, and
And
not
so-
just because of the way you wear that shirt.
Yeah, it's a red shirt. You got to stand out, right? So yeah, we're a CDN, so a content delivery network. We basically have servers all around the world. We basically copy your website to wherever in the world they are. We make your website faster, we make it more responsive, and we make it much more resilient to like traffic spikes and stuff like that. So with Thanksgiving just happening like in the US, we've got the Black Friday spikes, we've managed to protect like thousands of websites from having massive influx of traffic. So we make it faster, better, and cheaper.
So I think there are, you guys weren't certainly the first, CDN in the market, far from it. And what was it that you felt was missing that Fastly was going to provide?
So a lot of the legacy CDNs were kind of designed in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Right.
The web was very different then. You did a deploy once a month. Content didn't change that much. It was largely static content, or if it changed once a day. That's not how we do development anymore. Like you're doing deploys like 20 times a day, like the whole DevOps culture, and your content changes rapidly. And instead of being that like fully dynamic content that it used to be, and then static content like images, there's now much more of a continuum. So we like to call it event-driven content. Things like newspaper articles, which when stories are breaking, you need to be able to update stuff really, really rapidly. Sports scores, advertising, all that kind of stuff. It's much more event-driven. It's much less predictable when it's going to change.
So I would imagine, though, that as the web has changed, a lot of these older CDNs have tried to keep up with it. Has that been the case, or do you feel like they're still very staid and stodgy?
Actually, yeah, they're large companies, and it's one of the advantages of being a smaller company. We can't pretend we're as large as some of the big players.
Right.
They've got billions of dollars worth of market cap. But the reason why we're a lot more agile, we're a lot more nimble, and we're able to give a lot better customer service because we're that smaller kind of thing. But that saying, with smaller, we've got like thousands of websites on us, and we're doubling in traffic and size of company every 7 months. We just hit 1 terabits per second, and we're doing about 2.2 million requests a second at the moment. So we're growing pretty fast, but we're still able to keep that much more kind of customer service focused company.
One other thing I'm curious about is you were talking about, even now you're sort of relatively small, but that, is agile and you also raised a lot of funding, which we'll talk about in a second. But I would imagine when you first started, it was a fairly, small team of people. How did you go into those like first pitch meetings? You're like, hey, we're a few guys, but we're like really smart. Like have your website come through our like infrastructure, and we promise not to screw it up.
Well, I think there was our founder, the co-founder Arthur Bergman, who's the CEO, had a really, really good reputation. He was one of the founders of Velocity Conference. He was really well known in the industry. But also I think we were giving a service that nobody else had. And it was immediate benefit to a lot of people. Like, you're a content publisher. You want to be able to like lower your OpEx and your CapEx by having a cache in front of you. But you don't want to lose that responsiveness. And there was nothing out there that people could use. And so when we came along, people were like, shut up and take our money. It was good times for us.
That sounds like a good situation to be in. Another good situation to be in, presumably, is that you guys have just raised 75 million, so you're raised more than 100 million total, right?
Yeah, we're up to 130 million now over 4 rounds.
Right.
Iconic Partners was Iconic Capital was the latest one, but all our previous investors came in, like Amplify,
Right.
Battery, O'Reilly Alpha Tech Ventures.
So does that mean you guys like just bathe in money at this point?
Well, it turns out hardware's pretty expensive, so I wouldn't say we're bathing in money. But yeah, we're growing really, really fast. We just opened a Tokyo office. We're expanding our London office. Our London office now got 25 people in. We just opened a Denver office, and our New York office is growing really, really rapidly as well. So we're just growing. Every time I travel a lot, and every time I go back to the office, it's like another 50 people I don't recognize. So,
do you feel like that expansion is also following kind of the expansion of the internet itself, that there are markets that maybe don't have a lot of connection, and that's changing over time?
Yeah, the content, it sounds like a cliche, but the internet is global. And so, one of our big customers, The Guardian, they have a massive readership in the west coast of the US, the east coast of the US, and in Australia. And Australia is a long way away from London, like even at the speed of light. So we've got a lot of customers who have this global reach, and they don't want to go and spend all their money like going building data centers in Tokyo, in Indonesia, in Australia. They let us do that for them. And so we've been riding that wave of globalization of content. So that's also been really great for us.
I would imagine that the pressure on your infrastructure is also greater now that so much of the reading has shifted online. Not online, obviously online, but onto mobile. Because, like my patience for letting an article load I mean, it's not great on desktop, but it's basically 0 on my phone, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things. There's been so many studies, like a really famous one from Google, a whole bunch of stuff about e-commerce, about how, if the experience is slower, like, I think it's for every, 200 milliseconds, you get, a higher 20% higher bounce rate or something ridiculous like that. And so one of the things our platform does is allow you to move a lot of logic to our edge servers. So you can move a surprising amount of, complexity right the way close to the user. So that all happens really close to them on mobile. That makes the latency so much lower and really, really helps.
So the last thing I wanted to ask you about is, as people may have been able to pick up, you live in San Francisco now, but you're not from San Francisco originally. You are from London, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the London scene versus the San Francisco scene?
Well, I left London about 10 years ago, and I lived through the first dot-com boom and bust. And one of the things that I really appreciated about London was, in 2001, when everything started to go really, really badly wrong, a lot of people went to places like the BBC, the Guardian, and there was a whole bunch of really innovative stuff happened. And then you got the whole kind of Silicon Roundabout stuff that happened. There was Moo, there was RedMonk, there was Doppler, and then that really, really spurred this movement. And I think the London tech scene has always been a lot more practical. San Francisco is always about ideas. It's like, Groupon and stuff like that, whereas London was a lot more practical and grounded in reality. So, we even had Newspaper Club about 5 years ago. But the tech scene in London has really, really exploded. I love coming back here and seeing how it's changed. So
you're moving back then?
Oh, yeah, next week. I love it here. Who doesn't love London at Christmas?
I mean, it's as long as you can stand the cold weather and the darkness. There's the constant darkness. Oh God, now they're going to come after me. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. And since you're moving to London, we'll see you at the next London Disrupt.
Thank you very much. Bye.